Hey there, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good. And tell everyone, what is your name?
My name is Alan Wyatt.
Alan, and are you a resident here in Columbia County?
Yes, I live on Morris Callaway Road in Athens.
Okay, so you came out tonight. What topic was of specific interest to you tonight to bring you out on a Tuesday night?
Right, so my property is going to be bordering the data center property that was rezoned in May. So this is not an issue that's remote from my life. It's impacted significantly, and so I'm trying to get the rezoning reversed. So I made a plea to the Board of Commissioners tonight to reverse that decision based on 3 tenants that I presented to you.
Okay. And when you say that, this is not a remote situation, this is literally in your backyard, how will it impact you the most?
It's a good question, and many people have challenged me on what's the big deal about this. And I think a lot of it is really hard to quantify. So I know a lot of people have talked about the water and the power, light pollution, noise pollution, and general environmental concerns. My primary concern, though, is the way this was all done. And, it's a data center today. It could be a chemical plant tomorrow. It really doesn't matter. They could use the same processes that they use for this data center to put in a lithium mine. It wouldn't be any different.
Sure.
And so it's personal in terms of I'm going to be bordering the data center itself.
Sure.
I'm going to be hearing, they talk about the noise should be minimal, but that's the noise of the data center when complete. But they've said it's going to be 5 to 10 years to build and construct, and at which point we're going to be listening to the reversing beeps of construction equipment and earth movers and all the rest of it. So you can imagine what that sound is going to be like. And then once you remove all the trees between I-20 and close to our property, all the I-20 traffic noise has got nothing stopping it coming all the way into Appling. So it's a big deal for us.
Yeah. So what points were you able to present tonight?
So there's basically 3 tenets that I discussed with. First is the way they rushed the whole process, and the rezoning was approved in May, but there wasn't hardly any public awareness until August. I mean, that's fully 3 months after the rezoning approval. So obviously, a rush timeline didn't allow the community to educate themselves on what this is and to find out what the issues are and debate with the commissioners about it and provide alternatives. No opportunity to do any of that. The second point was the secrecy involved with the land deal. So the land in question was purchased by shell companies, which is a tactic used by the data centers. They use shell companies to purchase the property, and then the Columbia County Development Authority purchased it from those shell companies. So the first transaction in 2023 was for $9 million for the 1,600 acres. And then the Development Authority bought that same land for $29 million. So someone made $20 million out of that deal. And now the Columbia County Authority have a sales contract with the data center developers for around $60 million. So we've gone from 9 to 29 to 60 with no public disclosure and nothing out there in the public for us to understand what's going on. Because believe me, when land goes from 9 to 29 to 60, something's going on.
Yeah.
So,
and you speak with such conviction and such confidence about what you're saying that I would not be doing my due diligence if I did not ask you concerning those numbers that you just presented.
Mm-hmm.
How did you actually acquire that information?
So that's public record.
Okay.
I look at the Columbia County property maps occasionally, so I've used that facilities website, and so when I was actually on vacation in Antigua when this all went down, so we didn't really get a chance to come to the rezoning meeting, and I didn't know really about the rezoning at that time anyway. But that's highlighted to me there's something going on, so I went to the public record and just said, $9 million, 23. Now $29 million, it's all public record. And then the 57 million for the developer came from the Development Authority director. I can't remember her name now. But I questioned her at the first town hall and said, why did you pay 29 million for property worth 9 million? And she said, well, I tried to get them down. And the 29 million is all they would accept, but I'm not concerned because we're going to turn around and sell it for 57 million because they have the sales contract with the developer.
So you are saying they already have that sales contract with
Yes.
the developer now?
And they have a closing, yes, and they have a closing date that they will not disclose because of the MBA.
Okay, how do you know, Alan, that they have a closing date?
So I had a couple of meetings with the commissioners, Commissioner Couch and Commissioner Caraway in particular, and at those meetings I've asked these questions. I'd like to keep me answers. That's where I got that information.
So how can they give you personally the answers, but they cannot?
Yeah, they could not. All they could say is there is a closing date and a sales contract, but that's all they can say.
So is that contrary, because we were actually able to do some reporting at the town hall a few weeks ago with Commissioner Couch and Commissioner Malier?
Yes.
So are you saying that was contrary to the information that they put out at that town hall?
I'm not aware of that information because I wasn't at the second one.
Okay.
Just the first one. And they didn't mention it at the first one.
Okay.
So I got that information from my meetings with Commissioner
Couch and Caraway.
Yes.
Okay.
So I met with those folks to put these concerns in front of them probably a week and a half ago or so. And so I raised the issues and I specifically asked, do you have a sales contract with the developer? Answer yes.
Okay.
And is there a closing date? Answer yes. What is that closing date? We can't disclose that at this point.
Okay. So would it surprise you, because I was at the town hall that I was referencing, so would it surprise you if I told you at that meeting multiple times the term that was used was, this is not a done deal? Are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised by that because she said the same thing at the first town hall. So the question I specifically asked Commissioners Couch and Caraway is that if it's still under development or under consideration, I think is what they said.
Yes.
Then who is considering it? Can you stop this project if you considered it to be bad all of a sudden? Can you stop this project? And the answer was probably no. But they said they'll go get to legal. They wanted to talk to their lawyers and then give me a proper answer, which is what's going to happen with the next meeting.
Wow.
Yep, exactly. So it's under consideration by who is my question.
Well, and what does consideration mean?
Yeah, and if it's the commissioners, then, what does that, like you say, what does that mean under consideration? It might mean, well, all the mitigation factors that would need to be put in place of the things that are under consideration. So what are we going to do about the water? What are we going to do about power, noise, light, all that kind of stuff? But certainly it seems like off the table it's off the table that this project is coming.
Yeah. Well, I sat in the meeting tonight while you spoke and while everyone spoke and the commissioners spoke, and to me the language that was being used is this is.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, just before I spoke, which was unfortunate, apparently someone had sent in a question, said, will you reverse this? And Chairman Duncan said the answer is no. So clearly, they have no intention of reversing the rezoning, so that means it's going to happen. There's a sales contract, a closing date, so it will happen. The only say we have now is on mitigation activities for the impact to the environment. But the only mitigation thing that could help us is to put it somewhere else.
Right, right.
So,
last question, and I'm going to give you a chance to share anything you would want anyone else to know. But last question is this. It seems like to me when the question has arisen, how is this going to benefit our county? The only proposed thought is that it can or could lower the homestead taxes. Do you believe this is going to lower our taxes?
So I'm a kind of person that really doesn't believe anything like that. At an early age, I discovered that I don't believe anything people say, and I only half believe things I see for myself. You might want to call me a skeptic. But because of that, I said at the first town hall, and then in the follow-up meeting I had personally with Commissioners Cabs and Coward, I specifically said that if you are committed to use this new revenue of property tax reductions, then why not earmark 80% of it? That would be a negotiable figure, but I thought 80% of the revenue from the data center goes specifically and exclusively toward property tax reduction for citizens paying property taxes.
Do you not feel like if that were the case, some of these citizens here tonight that were concerned, that would be something they could get behind at least a little bit?
Well, exactly, and that's really the point I made. So if you make a commitment like that legislatively, then that talks volumes about the commitment rather than a promise that we're going to try and do it.
Right.
But I was told that they spoke to their legal and they can't do that legally because there's some law that says a current board of commissioners cannot bind a future board of commissioners to not vote an Act 3 at that. So that seems like somewhat of a cop-out because all you got to do is put in an annual renewal.
Sure.
So every year, Columbia County Commissioners would have a vote on, do we renew this exclusivity to property tax reduction from the data center or not? And what politician is going to say not in that situation, because they'll probably be out in a hurry after that.
Final word, anything that we haven't discussed that you feel like people need to know or do?
Yes, so the third point I made tonight was about Vision 2035. And that is a vision that Columbia County Columbia County leadership and other people in the county organization worked with citizens throughout the county to develop a unified collaborative vision for the county. And one of the elements of that vision, the growth plan for Columbia County, said that whatever happens in the growth plan, the rural nature and character of Appling will be preserved. And so when you make that statement in the vision statement, it was created with everybody's input, and then you build a 2,000-acre industrial complex in that rural area that you said has got to be preserved, and obviously that's diametrically opposed to that vision. And that is just so disappointing because the happiness and the joy you get out of the counties taking our input seriously by developing this vision and then they just discard it like it doesn't exist is very disappointing.
Alan, thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for speaking up, and thank you for sharing with us. And you're a very passionate person, and we will see where this goes. But again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.